Am I the asshole for not selling my dog? My ex-R, 37M, and I, 24F, got a dog, Max, together when we were in love. Because we weren't married, the adoption could only put one person's name on the application and they chose mine. The entire relationship, I took care of this dog from feeding, cleaning, vet trip to anything physical the dog needed done. R only contributed money, R is very wealthy, to buying things, as did I. Because I took complete care of Max, he bonded with me. R actually began to resent it and would often refer to Max as my dog. Eventually, towards the end, he got a new puppy and kept it in his room so it wouldn't bond with me. When we broke up, I kept Max, he kept his pup. Fast forward to this month, I found out that R's pup died. R has reached out to me and is offering me a large amount of money to buy Max. I refused. My family is absolutely livid and think I'm a moron for refusing to sell. They say that not only will the money change my life, but Max would go to a home where R can financially provide a lot for him that I can't. I'm so lost. Not the asshole. Prime example of money can't buy happiness. Not the asshole. He already killed one dog. Not the asshole. How did the puppy die? I honestly have concerns that he didn't take care of him and Max would end up in the same boat. You're protecting him. Not the asshole. Who the hell sells their dog who they've bonded with and taken care of like a child? You're not the ass, your family and ex are. Not the asshole. It's your dog, and you've connected with him. Your dog would also prefer you over your ex. Does your family think they'd be getting some of the money? Not the asshole. Your dog does not need financial support. He needs his human, and that's you. Am I the asshole for bringing up a politically sensitive topic with my coworker? I work remote, so I hadn't met any of my coworkers before since I was hired during the pandemic. Last month I went to Denver to meet them for a team get-together. It was really fun and we all went to a bar after work. Most of my coworkers are from Texas, I'm from BC, Canada. I was struggling with the 35°C weather and complained it was way too hot. My coworker agreed but said it was way hotter in Texas, and I said I was happy the team get-together wasn't in Texas because I would melt. He laughed and asked if BC, Canada was hot. I said it used to be really nice but it had been getting hotter recently, especially last year. He seemed interested and said he didn't think Canada could ever get hot because it was so far north. I said due to climate change it got up to almost 50°C last year in interior BC and I experienced about 45°C, which is basically Texas weather, but it was unusual and it's normal 25–35°C at the hottest. He got really quiet and a few coworkers who were listening, their face changed. I was like, what? Not really sure why everyone was acting strange. The coworker said, well, climate change isn't real, so I'm not sure what is causing Canada to get so hot, but that isn't it. I was pretty shocked because I'd never heard anyone deny climate change ever. I tried to shrug it off, not wanting to cause issues at a company meetup, and the rest of the get-together was okay but more awkward. Then last week I got a religious and political sensitivity training from HR, and when I asked about it they clarified it was due to me mentioning politically sensitive topics, like climate change at our meetup. I think it's insane. I've worked multiple offices including very conservative environments in Canada and never has anyone had an issue with mentioning climate change. But I'd never worked with US coworkers for a US company before, so am I the asshole for mentioning a politically sensitive topic in front of coworkers? Not the asshole. Next time tell them the earth is round and see what happens. Not the asshole. Climate change is not an opinion, it's a fact. Not the asshole. How are you supposed to know what indisputable scientific facts people chose not to believe in? What's next? They get upset because you tell them you tripped because you didn't know they chose not to believe in gravity? Not the asshole. What the fuck is wrong with your HR department? Weather is one of the go-tos of safe conversations. You can't help it if your coworkers are offended by reality. Sheesh. Not the asshole. Lol, we are so screwed if this story is true. Ah. I can see why you're confused. See. The Republican Party in America are complete idiots who are embracing religious fascism instead of science. Hopes this clears things up. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to adopt my siblings? My 34F parents had me when they were teenagers. And they only had my other brothers when I had already left home, 13M, 11M and 8M. I believe I was a fraternal figure present for my younger brothers as much as possible, but when the oldest was born, I was already in college living alone. It was taking care of them on my vacation time that I realized that I would never have children. When I turned 27, I received a job offer in another country and I stayed there until the beginning of this year, having to return to the country because my mother died. My father died at the beginning of the pandemic. I came back, but I could only stay 3 weeks in my country. I had to take a break and ask for a leave. I asked for a lot of vacations in advance, because I had to deal with my mother's inventory and I was the only representative of my brothers. Everything is on track. My mother facilitated many things before she passed away and I was living in an apartment, while my brothers lived with this aunt of mine. I spoke to the social worker who considered me returning to my country for good of them, because my brothers don't know the language, non-Latin, of them country and that would be a big change in their lives. I said that I did not intend to adopt my brothers, because despite having conditions, I work a lot of time away, staying away from home for 2 weeks at least, and moving back. Losing a very good job was not an option for me, besides the biggest fact, I don't want to have kids or be responsible for not 1 but 3 siblings. And that if someone in my family wants to be responsible, I help with whatever takes and I commit myself, on my vacations, to taking care of them during this period, but I don't intend and don't want to be responsible. The social worker understood my side. I talked to my brothers about it, about me not being able to move and they didn't want to move to another country. The oldest one even has a girlfriend. But that I would never stop visiting when possible and they were welcome to spend my vacation with me. They were a little upset, but we managed together. Therapy also. The problem is my aunt who, when she found out, started screaming at me, saying that I'm abandoning my brothers and leaving my responsibility to another relative. How cruel I am to turn my back, etc. Keep in mind that the person responsible for my siblings will be able to live in a 5 BD, 4 Ba house and there will be no financial cost to raise my siblings, as I am willing to pay. Am I the asshole? If your aunt feels so strongly, she is welcome to assume responsibility. I couldn't make the decision you've made in your shoes. But by the same token, I can't bring myself to judge you anything but not the asshole. Not the asshole. Asking for you to take in 1 child is a lot, never mind 3 at once. That's a huge decision and I think most people aren't in the situation where they could easily do that. You can't be expected to drop everything in life for kids that aren't even your own. Plus I think that you did a good thing by still offering to send money for them and visit often. It shows you still care about your siblings and still want to be there for them, and I think that's commendable. A lot of people wouldn't be willing to even do that. Not the asshole. You aren't obligated to adopt them, it wouldn't work for you, and you aren't their only family. Your aunt can adopt them if she's this concerned. Not the asshole. Raising children is not something you want to do and should not be guilted into feeling like you do considering you did not have any kids. Anyone who gets mad can feel free to step in and do it themselves. You're also offering a pretty sweet deal to go with it, no financial problems and a roof over their heads. Shoot, I will step in and do it for you for those 2 reasons alone. All jokes aside, I'm so sorry for your losses, but you are still being an amazing big brother. Don't let anyone tell you different. Info. Who is this, someone in your family who wants to be responsible? Have you, or the social worker, actually identified someone who wants to do this? Is the aunt whom your brothers have been living with the same one who's yelling at you for abandoning them and the relative you expect to care for them? Saying that I'm abandoning my brothers and leaving my responsibility to another relative. How are your siblings your responsibility exactly? You had nothing to do with their births and very little to do with their lives. No, your aunt is wrong. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for removing my daughter's earrings from newly pierced ears? My ex and I have a daughter together, age 7. She lives with me but has stayed with her mother for most of the summer break. My daughter returned home earlier this week and it was revealed that during her stay with her mother, she had gotten some new ear piercings. When my daughter left for her mother's, she had 1 earring in each ear, but it a bit of a shock to see she now had a row of 4 small studs in each lobe. I was upset for many reasons. Not only was this not discussed with me, but her mother knows that I was not too pleased when she took her to get her first piercings done as a baby. I also felt that the multiple piercings looked way too much on her small ears and not really suitable for when she is out playing. That night when cleaning them, I decided it was best to just remove them. The seconds looked like they were already healed, but thirds and fourths were freshly pierced and closed up pretty much overnight. A couple days later, my daughter went to visit her mom for a family gathering and she was furious when she discovered I had removed the earrings and let them closed. My ex demanded that I reimburse her for the cost, which I refused. My daughter is also upset that she can't wear her new earrings anymore, but I am not even sure it will be allowable when school starts. Am I the asshole here? Not the asshole, and everyone commenting on this must be under 25 and have no kids, because on what fucking planet is it appropriate for a 7-year-old to have 4 studs in each ear? She is 7, not 17 people. Not the asshole, she is 7. I shudder to imagine the many ways they could get pulled, stuck, jarred on the playground at school. 7. Let her be a little kid for a few more years. Not the asshole, she is just 7. She don't need 4 piercing. I'm going with not the asshole for the simple fact that she is 7. When I had my daughter, me and her father talked about this exact thing. We made the decision together that we would wait until she was old enough to decide on her own. But that was for just 1 hole in each ear. Why does a 7-year-old have 4 holes in each ear? In the end it will be the child's choice, but that is a discussion for the parents to have prior to it being done if the child asks for it. You don't do alterations to a child without having a talk between both parents. Especially when you are the primary caregiver. I have never in my life seen a 7-year-old with that many holes in their ears, let alone ask for that many. Not the asshole at all. A 7-year-old has no business with multiple piercings and can't maintain them properly. They are also a potential hazard for an active child. Your ex was insane to do that to a first grader. Not the asshole. She is 7, not 17. At the age of 7 my daughter shaved her brow, almost the whole thing. And just because she wanted it, doesn't mean that I allowed her to shave in the other. And no, the opinion of the 7 years old is very limited. The parents have the final decision.